Hey, good morning. Um, I haven't shot a video in a while. This one's going to be a little different. Um, no playing in the beginning. I just wanted to talk through some stuff and maybe do some playing at the end. So the first thing is I'm pretty bad at um, starting things. No, that's not true. I'm really good at starting things. I'm pretty bad at finishing them. So I have lots of ideas and uh, I start those ideas and they fizzle out because either a new idea comes up or I don't know, I forget. Uh, my focus shifts. Maybe I change my mind and I convince myself that it's dumb. But I had this idea, kind of, um, I guess, kind of when I first started on YouTube. This was my idea that I wanted to share what I've learned about how music works rather than like do song covers, which is well, pretty low hanging fruit, or teach songs. Um, Anything that I think I've taught on here has been more along the lines of like a foundational thing or a fundamental thing. So I had this idea, um, and I've also went back and forth with like how to structure these videos, like how to um, how to plan them out. Like, should I do what I'm doing now and just talk, or should I what do they call it, script them out? You know, and I have scripted them out before, but then it takes a while because um, you either have to like kind of memorize the script or like highlight parts of it so you know what to say, and you're always like looking over. So you have like all these cuts in your videos, and I did like transitions and that was fine. I did a few videos like that. That was fine. But my idea was this: what if I could create, say, 5 videos? It was like 4 at first, and I kind of extended it to 5. Just 5 videos that went through like the foundations of how music works. Like when I first learned, what if I made 5 videos that were the videos that I wish I had when I started learning music theory? And I thought, well, I could write them out like I was writing a tutorial or an essay or something online. I've done a fair bit of that, so I can do that. And then I'll take that written part, condense that into a video, and talk through each one of those, and then like write it all up, shoot it all, and then do like one a week. Just release like one a week that are kind of interconnected, and we'll call it like How Music Works Volume 1. Okay, so Volume 1 will have 5 episodes. I don't know what to call them. And then we'll see where it goes from there. Maybe a Volume 2, maybe a Volume 3, if people like it and they enjoy watching it, so on and so forth. So I have 4 parts written, ready to go. I can. I mean, I'm not exactly sure the format of how I'm going to use what I've written and talk through. I'd have to record one and kind of see what it looks like. But I think I have enough to talk about. I'm doing this thing. This is going to be a real thing. I'm finished. And I took because it's on my computer. It's not on my iPad, but I took a screenshot of what I have. So series 1 is 5 videos. First video is this intro to the whole thing. Basically what I'm talking about here, except in a more condensed version so we can get to the meat faster of what those videos are, why they exist, and what kind of content is gonna be in them. And then major scale, and we'll just talk through what the major scale is, what the intervals are, how to practice the major scale, get it under your fingers, how to know it really well, as the foundational piece, and explain a bit about how how it is literally the foundation for everything else. Everything grows from that. So once you have a good grasp of that under your fingers and in your head and in your ears particularly, then you can kind of branch out from there. Video number 2, minor scale. So we take the minor scale, major scale. We don't go too crazy deep. We don't go into different modes of minor modes or anything like that, or the different flavors of the minor scale. Just the Aeolian straight minor scale, the relative minor to the major. We just go through that minor scale. We do the same thing. Kind of walk through how to practice that, how to get it in your ears, how it differs from the major scale. And how to extend it from 1 string to 2 to 3 to, eventually all 6 strings. So you know it this way, and you also know it this way. So you can connect the pieces up and down the fretboard. And then this part was it's the hardest for me to explain, because I didn't want to go crazy deep on music theory, but I had to go somewhat deep to explain it, and it was key signatures. And the deal with key signatures is I wanted to explain what a key signature was, like how to know what key you're in, right? And in order to do that, I had to do some circle of fifths stuff to explain how that wheel works, but just a few parts of that, and then explain kind of how you can look at a piece of music and look at the staff and know what key it is based on some logic in the circle of fifths. Like to know, like, oh, if this has 3 sharps, it's A major. That type of thing, which I may do a video on this. I had this realization where now I can read music. I'm not a sight reader, and I'm not super fast, and it takes me a while. But I had this realization, like, oh my gosh, if I know the key, if I know what key it's in, and I find a note on the staff, now I can use the numbers of that key to go back and forth. And I don't have to worry about the sharps and flats because I know what they are in the key I'm in, right? So I could just be like, oh, and they go up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up the staff that way. So if I'm here and I drop down, so go, oh, this is a 5, so drop down 2. This is the 3. And like in say an A, I know that's C sharp. I know that that's a C, but technically it's C sharp. And I'm able to reason about that. I've played around with it a little bit. I think it's pretty good theory. I confuse myself on which direction I should go with numbers, ascending or descending. I'm going to try some stuff with the real book and see if I can, we'll say sight read, but semi-sight read melodies from some jazz standards. That would be cool. If I can, then I should do a video on it. So that's something I learned that I didn't know previously. I don't think I go into that in that part, but I do explain key signatures, circle of fifths, and the force. Even though we don't really dig into the force a little bit, other than say that that's used quite a bit in jazz. And then 4, this is the last one I have written so far, is intervals, which we do talk about intervals already when we talk about the major and minor scale. But here we go a bit deeper and talking about all of the intervals. So the root, the minor second, the major second, and then the minor third and the major third, and then the fourth, and then like a diminished fifth, a diminished fourth, or an augmented fourth. We don't get into those chords necessarily. We just mention that because they'll probably come back at later sometime, or it's a good thing to know in conversation, right? If we're like diminished fifth, right? You would know that that's a flat 5. And if somebody were to call that out to you, or something about augmented, you'd know that that's a half step up. The diminished is a half step down. Okay. So we'll go over intervals. And that's as far as I've gotten. The last one I have to write is triads. So I have to write something on how to take the major scale, the minor scale, the intervals, not so much the key signature thing part, but the other 3 and then combine those into triads and chords. I haven't decided if I'm going to touch on the diatonic chords of a key or if I'm just going to talk about major and minor triads. I'm not sure, because I have also listed a series 2 or volume 2. And volume 2 I have listed as major scale harmony, which would cover the diatonic chords and how they relate to each other, functional harmony, building chords. So that'll go over extension. So it'll take that triads and take that a step further. Like, how do we build minor and major sevenths, diminished chords, ninths, 11ths, 13ths, that kind of thing. Minor scale harmony, how do we harmonize the minor scale? Because the same sequence of chord progressions with different chords based on where we are. I have key centered down. I had key signature, key censored. That kind of makes sense. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to explain that. And then lastly, the pentatonic, because I think the pentatonic is important. But I think that it's important to have all that foundation ahead of the pentatonic, so that you know why you've chosen those 5 notes, what they are, and how to use them in context of. So the pentatonic box is the problem of not understanding the context around the pentatonic, to know that you're either in a minor or major scale, and there's other notes in there that you can use that are typically your avoid notes when you're playing pentatonic, but you can add them for flavor, and that breaks you completely out of that box. So you can go from pentatonic to major to pentatonic back to major, mix the two. You can do a bunch of stuff. And chords, right? Chord voicings. That's really it. That's what I wanted to talk about. That I'm going to have this thing coming up. Hopefully people dig it. I don't know. It'll be fun. All right. Guitar playing. So I wanted to talk about warm-ups. A lot of times when you first pick up the guitar in the morning, you may not know what to play, right? Exercises are fine and good, and we should all do exercises, go up and down. But a lot of times I'll just pick, like, not even a key, just a chord, and just mess around that chord. So caged really comes into play with this, and it's kind of a big part of this. So we'll just take D, for example. So if I were to pick up the guitar now, I played maybe 30 seconds today. So I'm fresh, fairly fresh. And this is probably what I would do. So I would just pick D. Try to play something musical. something like that. That's a good way to get stuff under your fingers, and for me, it's inspiring because it sounds like music. I'm kind of moving around, getting different spots of the neck. It helps me solidify the chords that you can play in D. You know, here, 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 all over. That's a good way to warm up. Next time you warm up, if that's not something you typically do, try just grabbing a chord, playing it as many ways as you can, and trying to make something musical out of it. A lot of times, little motifs. I'm not even sure if I pronounce that word right. I've heard it motifs, motives, whatever. Motif. A little motif will come out of that, and then you can just kind of build something around that, and that's a good way. And a lot of times I end up throwing that in a looper and just kind of jamming over it for hours. But that's it. That's all I have. So enjoy the rest of your Saturday. See ya.